accident, you need a lawyer, and you deserve an advocate. Because every accident has a ripple effect. It affects your time, your health, your ability to make money, everything. That's where the advocates can help. Thanks to our decades of experience, we know what your case is worth, and we'll fight to get you every penny you deserve. Consultations are simple and always free, because you're not just a client to us, you're a person, and you deserve the best help you can get. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Yes, The Monty Show.
Hey, Monty.
Hey, Monty. Happy Friday, fat ass. The Monty Show, presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. I am so thrilled that the Advocates are our partners on the show. I tell you every single day that the number one thing you get from the Advocates is empathy, because they understand where you are. They know how you feel because they've experienced all of this before so many times. It makes them the absolute right choice. When you need an attorney, you need somebody to fight for you, you need somebody to be your advocate. Get to theadvocates.com, where you can chat with an attorney live online, and it won't cost you a dime, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Jakey Two Holes, how are you?
Excellent. How are you?
If I was any worse, I would be better. I was really looking forward to this NBA trade deadline. I think you guys know by now, I'm a huge NBA fan, both in emotion and physicality. And I was really looking forward to this NBA trade deadline. And I feel like it was much ado about nothing. Obviously, I think all of us as fans want big names, big places, huge trades.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us expected, as we talked about on the show yesterday, for a superstar to trade places. But I thought at least an Andrew Wiggins. I thought at least a Jordan Clarkson.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think one of the biggest moves would involve the Knicks just throwing Quentin Grimes into a trade like it didn't mean a thing. That's wild to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's no question that it was kind of a dud of a deadline. But, yeah, I mean, I think you look around the league and there's a lot of teams just kind of standing pat. Just sitting here, making these little deals that get them a draft pick. We're not really doing a whole lot. And I don't know if the league is kind of trending in a direction where the summer window is really the one that where the big things happen. Traditionally, you've always had bigger moves on the deadline, and then the summer window has kind of been reserved for the stars of the league, the Harden level players, the Paul Georges, the LeBrons. If he's going to move, that's when those guys would do that. But it just seems like the last couple of seasons in the league, the trade deadline has been pretty light, man. Not a lot of moves, not a lot of impact, not a lot of changing of the landscape. Whether you're a Jazz fan or a Bulls fan, a Knicks fan, how the Lakers, a Hawks fan with the DeJounte Murray situation, certainly Charlotte changing their roster a little bit. I just think that there wasn't a big time splashy move. I do think that the Knicks are probably one of the better teams coming out of the deadline. I think they really solidified the back end of their bench and they've really deepened things, and that's going to pay big dividends down the stretch. But ultimately, I look at the East and I say, yeah, the East is kind of the same. Celtics didn't do a whole hell of a lot. Bucks really didn't. Obviously the Bucks picked up Patrick Beverley, but that's not a foundational changing move. We were more interested in joking about the fact that Patrick Beverley and Damian Lillard need to repair their relationship after all the junk they've talked to each other than actually talking about the fact that the Bucks are, 1-6 now under Doc Rivers and look like they have no idea how they're going to go about winning ball games in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Brooklyn with the Dennis Schroeder trade, I thought that was interesting. Thad Young in that deal as well. Spencer Dinwiddie goes to Toronto, who immediately turned around and released him. We heard yesterday that he is now the number one target in the buyout market, which I think is, free agency buyout market. I thought that was interesting. The Kelly Olynyk Ochai Agbaji deal. Which again, I'm happy to tell you, we told you so. I feel like we talked specifically about Ochai Agbaji yesterday being traded. And again, here's another example of a young guy being moved that this organization didn't develop. And I think that is something to really look at, because now I cannot believe that Taylor Hendricks doesn't have a place on this Jazz roster for the rest of the season.
Well, he had a place last night, and that was on the floor against Kevin Durant.
But, the block shot he had on KD, I thought was a really nice moment. Now, the crossover where I feel like that's just a young guy having to learn.
Yeah.
You're going up against an absolute murderer, right? I mean, and I think that isn't an indictment. It's just the reality of the situation for Taylor. He's a wonderfully talented player.
I just thought it was a fitting moment for how his season's gone so far, and to no fault of his own. I mean, he spent most of the year in the G League. Deadline day gets here. The guy playing in front of you gets moved. You get your first minutes on the court, and of course, it's playing against Kevin Durant. And of course, Kevin Durant, needs no introduction. And I just, watching that game last night, I'm like, yeah, this kid's got some grit to him for sure. I mean, you got dropped by Kevin Durant, and then later in the game, you came back and got his ass. So, I mean, I love the mentality, absolutely, and I think he's going to be a solid NBA player. But I think the bigger conversation for the Jazz is whether it's under this new regime with Will Hardy or under the past regime with Quinn Snyder, you don't get the most out of your players. You just don't, and you seemingly ship them out. And they seemingly go to other organizations and have more success.
Well, and that's my struggle, as we talked about yesterday, and whether it's been, like the young guys that we've seen the last 2 years. Like I'm really worried about Walker Kessler. I love what John Collins has brought to the Jazz. I love that I thought Craig Bolerjack on the broadcast last night made a great point that, it looks like John Collins finally found his legs here. It looks like he's comfortable. He's in the system. He knows where he's supposed to be and when he's supposed to be there. Like, you feel like he's really stepped up for you and become the player you wanted him to be, at the expense of Walker Kessler, though.
Yeah.
Which, and again, I'll make the same point today I made yesterday. If we're talking about the Jazz, I am quite concerned that this organization doesn't take young guys and develop them. So what was the point of the Olynyk and Ochai trade if all you did was pick up more trade assets, or draft assets, and you're not trading them? What are you doing with these assets? I don't understand that, because what you did yesterday was you kept Jordan Clarkson again. And I don't understand that. I thought perhaps he had broken a leg, or maybe his arms had fallen off. But who knew that Talon Horton-Tucker was actually still capable of playing basketball, because he actually got minutes last night.
Right.
Why did you not trade him? And I think we've reported for weeks now that the Jazz had multiple trades on the table, half a dozen yesterday, and chose not to do that. They chose to stand on business yesterday and not be in the play-in tournament.
And I think the biggest red flag that I see here is that, like, in my opinion, as an organization, you have to prioritize one of two things. You're either the team that's rebuilding, or you're the team that's trying to win a championship. There is no middle ground. There is no, like, if you're going to be the team that is like, yeah, we're good being a play-in team, and we're just going to try and sell the building out, and that's it. That's all I need to know about you, because your moves yesterday suggested that. So let me get this right. You've got all these draft picks. You traded away Olynyk and Agbaji. You picked up draft picks and a young point guard. Great. You've got a treasure trove of draft picks that are sitting on the shelf collecting dust because you don't develop players. So I'm trying to understand, why is it that Keontae George, a guy like Taylor Hendricks, and Walker Kessler are not getting the lion's share of the minutes? You should not be trying to win games right now. You should be trying to develop guys. And
I look at the Suns, like the Suns picking up Royce O'Neal, I thought was a really good deal. I mean, that's a guy that can really help you.
That's like a basketball logic move.
Yes.
Like, hey, we're the Suns. We've got a ton of talent. We don't need to make anything splashy. But a guy like Royce O'Neal, who, again, another example, not to be ultra negative on the Jazz, goes to Brooklyn, turns into a meaningful player who can actually make a difference for you. And what do you know? 2 years later, 3 years later, now he's on a championship caliber Suns team.
Yeah. I am in the trade is Ochai Agbaji and Kelly Olynyk for Lewis and Porter and a 2024 first round pick, which essentially is we'll see how that works out. I mean, it could be a great pick, it could be a terrible pick. But I think it's a good deal if you're trying to continuously collect draft capital. And I know that yesterday on Twitter, I was talking to a bunch of Jazz fans about my feelings on Ryan Smith. And there is belief around the NBA that Ryan Smith is not interested in winning basketball games right now. He is more focused on, these rumors that he made an offer for the Phoenix Coyotes, which have not been confirmed, to move the Coyotes to Salt Lake City. The belief around NBA circles is that Ryan Smith is focused on other business, that he is not focused on the Utah Jazz, and he is not focused on the Utah Jazz winning a championship right now, that he is trying to save his pennies to bring an NHL team to Salt Lake City. And I think that's really disappointing. I think it's really disappointing because you can look at some of the lesser trades yesterday. Did the Dallas Mavericks get better yesterday? With PJ Washington, 2 second-round picks, you send out Grant Williams. I think PJ's is he a more versatile player? He's not the shooter that Grant Williams is, but they don't need shooting on that team.
Yeah, I think he's a much better defender than Grant Williams is, and I think he does a lot less getting ejected than Grant Williams does.
Yeah, that deal, I think the Daniel Gafford deal was actually the better of the two deals. I think Gafford helps them a lot more. They needed to get physical. Like I look at Buddy Hield to the Sixers. I think that's a phenomenal trade for the Sixers.
Yep.
I think Buddy Hield. Now, you gave up guys that I think were not of consequence. Furkan Korkmaz, Marcus Morris, McDermott, now the question is, did you need to give up 3 second-round picks? That's a lot of picks. But Buddy Hield, if he's going to knock him down, I think Buddy Hield is a really good fit in Philly. And I think that's one of those trades where everybody wins because Indy gets a bunch of picks. But then you turn around with the Knicks and the flipping Knicks. And the thing about this trade with the Knicks that is so shocking to me is you threw in Quentin Grimes into a deal to get, I think, 2 guys, and specifically Bojan Bogdanovic.
Bojan.
Bogdanovic.
Bagdanovic.
Bojan Bogdanovic can really help the Knicks. And Alec Burks, okay. But you threw in Quentin Grimes into a deal when you would not give him to the Jazz last year. Or, man, is that 2 years ago now? I guess.
Yeah.
You would not give him to the Jazz to get Donovan Mitchell. He was the deal breaker. And yeah, that was a season and a half ago. But you wouldn't give him in that trade to get Donovan Mitchell, but now you threw him in to finish a Bagdanovic and Alec Burks deal? That's what is
Leon.
That is what is so amazing.
What are we doing? Dude?
And you gave up two second-round picks, I believe it was. Now, I love this deal for the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
But Donovan Mitchell is playing at an MVP caliber level. And you threw in Quentin Grimes?
Apparently.
That's wild. I think the Knicks overwhelmingly made the most impactful moves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Knicks are, again, in a prime position. This is one of the best teams, in my opinion, that they've had in quite some time. And when I say one of the best teams, I'm not just talking about the frontline guys. I'm not just talking about Brunson or, any of those guys that start for them regularly. Bojan Bogdanovic is the guy who makes that three for you in the middle of a heated run that you need. And yeah, did he miss several clutch threes for the Jazz? Yeah, he did. But when you're playing for the Knicks, I can't believe that all of a sudden you're not gonna make those shots. I can't believe that. I think that he's the wing sniper that team needed. And the beautiful thing about it for Bagdanovic is he doesn't need to play on the block. He doesn't need to play inside.
Yeah.
All he needs to do is be good enough on defense where he's not getting beat terribly and knock down the 40%. If you do that, you're going to be on the Knicks, and the Knicks are going to be very good.
NBA champions will be the Utah Jazz. Oh, no, excuse me. Victor's the way.
I would.
Denver's still got to be there.
The Clippers are the easy choice, but I think when you get into playoff time, Denver's probably the way to go. I think they are still top line. I think they're still that team that the Clippers have what no talent can give you, which is they have a bunch of chemistry and a bunch of intangibles when they play together. They beat the Lakers last night because Michael Porter Jr. is out here knocking it down from three. When he's doing that, they're impossible to defend. You're going to double Jokic? Cool. MPJ is going to be on the wing waiting to shoot a wide open three. Oh, you want to double Jamal? Okay, well, Jokic is one-on-one with an undersized matchup on the block. Like, that's the problem. So I love what the Clippers are doing, and I love the talent, and I think Harden's having a hell of a year, but I still think Denver's the team to beat.
I would also point out that Xavier Tillman was a big pickup for the Celtics. I thought that was a really good trade. You traded a guy that you weren't using in two picks, and I think Xavier Tillman was a really good pickup for the Celtics.
Yeah.
I like the Celtics in the East. If he comes in and he can give them that physical presence, I love that. But, hey, I think the Knicks had a good day. Let's get to your comments here on the Monty Show. As always, our comment section is presented by our good friends at Prize Picks. Oh, my God. PrizePicks.com, promo code Monty. You guys. I know is the word piped, Jake. It is.
It absolutely, it is.
And it's very powerful.
So you guys know we're working on this special awesome thing.
So I said, yeah.
And we finish up working on the special awesome thing yesterday, and I'm like, oh damn, I forgot to finalize my Prize Picks. Well, I've got Donnie going up against Brooklyn MVP.
Right.
I've got John Collins dominating, and I've got Kevin Durant. Yeah, 45.5 is a huge number. I'm going to go on Kevin Durant, points, rebounds, and assists last night.
That's not a big number for him. He
huge number.
Down.
Huge number. I'm going to go under that. Over John Collins, 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And, of course, Donnie's going to get me 37 points, rebounds, and assists, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no doubt.
You're so fucked.
Look at the 36. I needed one more assist, a rebound. I know you can't dunk anymore and you never pass, but are you kidding me right now with this? Other hand. Are you kidding me right now with this? Look at my guy John Collins, right? Look at your jag bag. Kevin Durant, you couldn't just act like, hey, you're blowing out the Jazz and you couldn't just take a break? One less rebound, one less assist. I'm not the guy you're reaping, you prick.
It's the Jazz. Why would you go less?
I was right on top of the number.
It's not a bad pick. Yeah, it's a tough beat.
Are you kidding me?
But generally speaking, I would not take scores to go less against a bad defense.
Shut up, Jake. Now you tell me. I lost by one.
Brutal.
Twice in a row.
Brutal.
Unbelievable. PrizePicks.com. That's the beauty of it. And I love Prize Picks. My NFL Prize Picks for this weekend. I feel pretty rock solid. That was my first really bad beat in a long time. I've been on a roll at Prize Picks.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you that I feel really good about my Prize Picks for the Super Bowl this weekend.
And if you remember on the show yesterday, I did another one. So I now have two.
So do I.
separate prize picks for this weekend.
Yeah, I've got some. I like this one that I'll share with you guys because I care about you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm addicted to prize picks. Admittedly.
Right.
I love it so much. Even Mrs. Monty is now asking me at night when I'm dozing off on the couch. She's like, "Hey, honey, how are your prize picks?"
Yeah,
remember that vacation we were talking about? Yeah, that's out.
Going good. They're terrible.
Oh, you want to pay the mortgage? Yeah, you better help me with prize picks.
They're terrible.
No, I'm kidding.
Terrible.
Travis Kelce, slam dunk, I think. Trav, swell C.
Yeah.
I think it's a slam dunk at 59.5 receiving yards. Isaiah Pacheco.
Hey, Pacheco.
All he needs is a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then Kyle Juszczyk, Kyle Juszczyk, 4.5. And this is the one that really should be a no-brainer. 4.5 rushing and receiving yards. So all my guy needs to do here.
One catch.
That's it.
One catch.
Just get one play. And I winner chicken dinner. Here's Jake. These are terrible. Here's what not to do on prize picks. Travis Kelce, 1 touchdown. Travis Kelce doesn't catch touchdowns. That's really solid. I would take that as well. Christian McCaffrey, 2 rushing, receiving touchdowns. That's a terrible choice. There's a goblin there, and I would guess if the 49ers win, McCaffrey will be the MVP. So 2 touchdowns is really reasonable.
Yes.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling. This one is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
3 targets is all you need.
Yeah.
To win. I think you got that pretty well.
We're in a good place.
So are you coming over to the crib on Sunday?
Bro, are we actually going to use the smoker in the
You're
backyard?
not invited. You're not invited.
Okay, well,
I only, I hang out with the cool kids club.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we ought to do some wings.
Mm-hmm.
I think we ought to do some brisket and some tri-tip and some ribs.
No, you don't eat meat anymore.
I think I heard you're a voracious meat eater. I would do some wings. I would do
Hiscock.
I would do it all, man. I've heard that about you.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I would love to. Are you guys having Super Bowl parties in the comments section? Let's get into it. Let's see who's in. Buffalo Hunter, Dakota Tubbs. Okay. Mark Hales. Good morning, Mark Hales. Jay Chapman. Oh boy, NBA talk. Well, we talk about all sports on the show. Giggity, what's up with you? Harry Austin, good morning. Not going to lie, not liking the morning show messes up my schedule of shows I follow.
Well,
I appreciate the sacrifice. Tanner Plummer, Brady Cook. Harry also says, the Spurs wasted a Wemby window to get better. Did you guys see Victor's the way get absolutely bodied last night and then dunked on?
Bro.
Victor's the way.
Dude, put some rocks in your pocket. Tanner Plummer says hand fighting. Let's go. Yes, of course. Noel Ramirez, glad the Magic didn't draft him. The Jazz should have tanked last year and dropped Victor the Beloved. Okay.
Bro.
Okay.
This is your beloved.
Dakota Tubbs, Clarkson is here to stay. The Jazz can't and won't part with him.
Apparently not, dude.
I don't disagree with you. The front office loves him too much to do me dirty like that. Hey, man, that's your guy. Totally
I don't regret those decisions.
What was the point of drafting Ochai and Fontecchio last year if they're just going to trade these guys this year? The trend of them not developing talent continues, and it really concerns me. Well, the funny thing is, Jazz Nation says I'm completely wrong about that.
Y'all reading all this cap ass shit.
And then I ask those Jazz guys, hey, well, tell me one young guy that the Utah Jazz have drafted and developed into a star. And you won't say Gordon Hayward because you're so bitter over that, who got traded to OKC yesterday in what was a really good deal. You can't say Rudy Gobert. And now the problem is you can't say Donovan Mitchell because you got him to a point. He was injured, regressed. Now he's an MVP candidate in Cleveland.
What you want me to say to them?
So I'm asking you, like, you had the opportunity here in Walker Kessler, and maybe that still happens.
Yeah. I don't like what I see out of development for the Jazz at all.
Tanner also says, to be fair, Royce did play well for the Jazz. He just played the wrong role. With the Nets, he played the right role, and look what happened. I don't even disagree with you.
But again, Tanner, and not even saying, you're wrong, but my point is, getting guys to play the correct role on your team is part of developing them, right? Like if you ask John Collins to be a point guard, he's not going to develop or grow as a player.
Right.
If you ask, Colin Sexton to play the 5, he's obviously not going to develop as a player. So that's kind of my point. Like, they do things like that all the time.
And look how much more reliable Royce has been as a three-point shooter during his time in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I think that matters as well. Big Daddy Magic.
Right.
Amen, Jake. I'm not happy with the Jazz. They should have tanked last year and picked the beloved.
Big Daddy Magic, the heavyset one with the big gun with the sweet tongue.
Harry Austin, at least the Lakers did not get bailed out this year. Real chance they missed the playoffs. I totally agree. You are going to you're counting on D'Lo. And granted, last night, I thought the Lakers, who are not nearly as talented, in my opinion, as the Denver Nuggets, I thought that was one of the best games of the year to watch on television. It was fantastic. And yet you just look at LeBron and AD, and then, I mean, Austin Reeves played pretty well, but he shot 2 of 7 from 3. You had Taurean Prince, who decided to go under every screen. Terrible. Like, they don't have depth, and I don't know how you fix that. Now, D'Lo didn't play last night, injury or illness. I don't know what you do with this Laker team. I truly do not, and I agree. I don't think they make the playoffs.
Right.
I really don't think they make the playoffs, but that's just me. Sean Rollins, how are you? Drew Dozer says, yay, comment time. Sean Rollins gifts 1 Monty Show membership. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that. Sean. Everybody, make sure you hit the like button.
Are we bringing back free membership Friday?
It is Friday, isn't it?
It is.
Dude, this week has just flown by.
Yeah.
Flown by.
Give some memberships, man. Let's go.
Give some membies.
Yeah, some membies.
Give some membies. Yeah, you could do that. That's always awesome. 340 views. We only have 19 likes. If you have not yet, please hit the like button. Always appreciate when you do that. Connor Tulin. Good morning, Connor Tulin. Good to see you. Knicks got Bojan. I think Bojan Bagdanovic is a good pickup for them.
Yeah.
I do think Bojan is
into what they need.
Harry Austin, any thoughts on Kirk Herbstreit alleged involvement in the Dylan Raiola flip? Who cares? Can I ask why this is a controversy? If you didn't hear this, Kirk Herbstreit called Dominic Raiola and they talked, and your mom, and why does anybody care? Do you think this doesn't happen all the time? Why does anybody care about this? Why is this? I don't understand why this is controversial. Hey, any thoughts on the streets getting wet when it rains? This is what it is. That's what happens.
Yeah.
He is a top prospect at a premium position. And I don't know, Harry, and if you want to expound on why this is a problem, I was trying to figure out, and I was talking to a college football guy the other day about this, yesterday, in fact. Why is this like some big thing? It's only a big thing because Kirk Herbstreit works at ESPN.
That's it.
If this was you, Harry, or anybody else, no, like, I just don't see why this is a problem.
Yeah.
I just don't see why it's a problem. Tanner Plummer, Prize Picks, Monty's new only source of income. That's it. PrizePicks.com. Download the app. Use the promo code Monty to get 100% deposit matching. Have to do it.
Yes.
Have to do it. Steve Wolgamott Jr. Dad is inviting the son over for a barbecue. No, the son invited himself.
I'm for real.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Drew Dozer, bro, these numbers are shockingly low. 14 likes. Yeah, let's go. Pick up the numbers.
Yeah.
Yes. And a lot of people have asked me this. Are your viewership numbers lower in the morning? Not in total. Not at the end of every day. They're not. It is what it is. It is what it is.
It's 6 a.m. Mountain Time, bro.
Correct.
Like, people are still sleeping.
Yep. And Donuts, getting on a red eye and listening. Ooh, travel safe.
Yeah, where are you going, bro?
Yeah, where's your end goal here?
Your destination.
Chaplain James White. Victor looked like Sean Bradley last night. Dude needs to eat a triple cheeseburger.
Okay, bro. He changed his name?
No, that's not him. That's not Oak State James.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is a different James White.
Why is everyone named James on this show?
I don't know. Tanner, I'm just going to say what we're all thinking. Victor is not the way. Not yet, but he will be. Victor's wildly talented.
He is.
And he's shown you he can play at this level now. So it just is, to me anyway. Q Sam, I can't believe the Jazz aren't giving Hendricks minutes early. You've got to now. There's no excuse. Good, bad, ugly. This is a cat that has all of the tools you need. And I think he is one of your future guys. You spent a significant draft pick on him. Develop him.
Yes.
I think you've got to start Walker Kessler. Walker at the 5, John Collins at the 4. Figure it out. Figure it out. Because I don't understand this minimizing of Walker Kessler, and I feel like that's what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the minutes are not remarkably different, as everybody always points out. The role is different. The impact is different. You've got to figure it out.
And I don't understand, because it's not like he, did something to diminish his role. It's not like all of a sudden he just played like crap.
Mike Smith makes a very good point. Victor is the way, W-E-I-G-H.
Yeah.
Oak State James.
Oh, so he is here.
This is where we have an
Hi,
opportunity.
this is James, welcome back.
Are you going to unblock James from your texting phone?
No. Can't do it, dude.
Why did you block him?
Gotta set boundaries, dude. Gotta set boundaries. James is a listener. I'm a host. Just is what it is.
So he was overly texting. He was blowing your phone.
Yeah, it was just that,
Was it nudes or what was it that he was texting you?
I can't comment on that at this time.
A lot of pictures of glizzies.
Who are you, Drake? Come on.
Pictures of construction sites. What was it?
Yeah, dude, 2x4s. Yep.
I wonder if that's Oak State James's pornography of choice, which is just like raw construction sites where dudes are just hanging iron and banging hammers.
Macaque.
Anyway, hey, James. Victor needs to eat a triple cheeseburger like every night until he gains 30 pounds. Once he does, though, and you're not wrong, James. I think once he puts on muscle, forget it. He's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
Now, you don't want to put on weight the way Luka put on weight, but you want to put on the right kind of.
Wait, you don't want to be first team All Zion?
Drew Dozer says hit the weight room. Mike Smith, Brown's going to pull a Modell again. Somebody else sent me a tweet, I think, on that. Was there something about no, there's not. The Browns, what was Stefanski won coach of the year?
Yeah.
I don't remember what that story was, but it could be wrong. Let's see. Drew Dozer, the Haslams are considering some large property outside of Cleveland. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. The Haslams. Build a better truck stop, then build a stadium. Big Daddy Magic, I'm going to a Super Bowl party with some buddies. Yeah, are you guys Super Bowl partying it? And where are we at on the Super Bowl? I think, as we've talked about all week, 1.5 is an interesting number. The Chiefs are dogs in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still surprised by it. Who are you more confident in winning?
Kansas City Chiefs all day long.
That's just got to be a money play. The Niners are still 1.5. According to ESPN Bet and many others. Oh, excuse me. They are 1.5, excuse me. Their money line's 122. There's not a great betting number here. I mean, if you're money lining, you're going Chiefs on the money line.
Right.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But has your opinion changed much of this matchup?
Not a lot. I think that, there's the 49ers have more things they need to do right than the Chiefs, and I think that's why the Chiefs win. I think the Chiefs have to get Pacheco going early, and if they do that, it's going to be a long night for that defense, because if you got to chase around Isaiah Pacheco, for most of the first half. And then you've got Patrick Mahomes finding, whether it's Travis Kelce, Valdez-Scantling, who I have, Patrick Mahomes is going to find his way through this defense. And I just think that I don't know. For some reason, I still need Brock Purdy to show me that in a big game early, he's not nervous. He's not the, hey, I'm real nervous making bad decisions until I get my feet under me in this game guy. I don't I guess maybe that's just the Lions game sticking with me, but I just don't believe if you turn the ball over early here that you're going to be able to come back. You came back on the Lions because they just are not, I guess, prepared or good enough to stop you. This team is good enough to stop you. And so to me, that's why I still think you got to take the Chiefs, because they've been here. They've done that. They need to do less things right to win the game. It just lines up for them to win.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Boy, now you guys are all in on this Herbstreit story. Okay, so I should probably set this up. Kirk Herbstreit, Dominic Raiola, the father, who is the father of a big-time prospect. Dylan Raiola was committed. The quarterback, Dylan Raiola, was committed to Kirby Smart in Georgia. The allegations are that Kirk Herbstreit talked to Dominic Raiola and said, you've got to have him at Nebraska, whatever. I am guessing that never happened. And if it did, you're going to have a hell of a time proving it. I just don't understand why this is a story. And if you guys want to tell me why it's a story, it's Kirk Herbstreit. I don't understand why this is a big deal.
I mean, maybe that's why it's a story, because it is Herbstreit. Because, like you said, I mean, it's ESPN, it's Herbstreit, it's, people, this is not the first time people have tried to make a big deal out of Herbstreit doing something that he may or may not have done. Like, we all remember the helmet thing on the college, game day set, I believe it was, or whatever, where Herbstreit's got these 4 helmets behind him, and winds up being the 4 college football playoff teams, and people are all outraged and said the fix was in. I don't understand why people hate on ESPN personalities at the rate that they do. If you think that Kirk Herbstreit isn't in contact with everybody in the college football world at all times, you're out of your mind, because he is, and it's his job to be. And if he said, hey, things based on what I've been told are going to go awry in Athens, you should probably have your boy go to Nebraska. Cool. Great. That doesn't change the fact that they still got to go out and make that move happen. It's not like Herbstreit paid Nebraska to move Raiola's kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so I'm just trying to figure out, are we so hell-bent on a legal contact before the portal opens?
Where did Dominic Raiola, the father of Dylan Raiola, anybody know where he went to college? How about Nebraska? Is it really that surprise? Let's say Herbie and Dominic Raiola talked, which I don't even think Kirk Herbstreit has denied. He hasn't denied that. My guess is that Kirk Herbstreit was like, yeah, Raiola's a good coach, and even if he lobbied for Nebraska, do you have to lobby that hard when Dominic played there? This is a nothing burger. This is a nothing burger. And I don't understand the people that, yeah. Harry Austin, or wait, I should read James's comment, because I'm always accused of skipping people's comments.
Well, skipping them and not reading them all the way through.
Any contact with the player. All right, James, thanks for any contact with a player before they go in the portal, that is tampering. That is illegal. By who?
Because it's illegal.
By who? So the people that are alleged to have talked about this are Dylan Raiola's father and a friend of Dylan Raiola's father. There's no illegality being alleged here. Harry Austin, I'm not saying it's a problem. It's why I asked. I see people upset over it. I don't see the big deal. I agree. But I thought I was missing something. I don't think you're missing anything.
That's what I think. That's kind of why I think we're agreeing. Like I think people understand, hey, oh my God, this is a huge deal because it's Herbie and he influenced something and it's a rigged portal process. And come on, dude.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Let's see. Big Blue Horses, Herbstreit, whatever. Drink a bucked up and move on. I agree.
Down. Let's do it.
Drink your buckshot and move on with your life, man, because life is too long to get caught up on Kirk Herbstreit.
Mm-hmm.
TTUN is far better than thee. So I'll move on.
TTUN.
Yeah, the team up north.
That'd be America's team.
The team up north. Yeah. All right. Mike Smith, Herbie, the ESPN love bug. Thank you.
Did you see that?
What?
I bounced the buckshot off the floor and up onto the chair. You totally missed that.
Nobody cares.
Bro.
Sean Rollins, I'm not sure, but I don't think he's tampering because he's not part of a team.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like Herbstreit's a head coach. It's
Hello?
not like he's an administrator.
Hello?
Come on.
UW fan Jim, why don't you guys cover the Supersonics anymore? Exactly. Exactly. Drew Dozer, I kind of like Herbie, but not in that way, right?
Stay home.
I mean, I could be wrong. Dude gets a bad rap, but I think he does a great job as an analyst. I do as well.
He does. Yeah, he does.
Big Daddy Magic, a member of the show for 9 months.
Let's go.
Pimp's going to pimp. Victor is better than anybody in this chat. There's no doubt about that. I think I could body him off the block, but whatever.
Yeah.
Mike Smith, quit being a hater, J2H. You tell James you love him and then ghost him, you big tease and heartbreaker.
Stay home.
Okay, Mike. Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. James says Chiefs 31, Niners 28. Debo was 100% healthy. I'd pick the 49ers, but he's not. He looked healthy in the NFC Championship game.
I think he's healthy enough to make a difference, James. Again, this game is not about Debo or CMC or anybody else. This is about one guy.
Yeah.
And that's Brock Purdy.
Brocktober?
Yeah.
You really think he's that much of an impact on this game?
Oh, yeah. I think that, and I think it's much more of a, hey, does he put them behind early or does he come out and make the throws he should make? I'm telling you, it's something to watch. If he comes out and he looks good and he's completing and, they're moving down the field, this is going to be a hell of a game. If he comes out and he looks nervous and looks like he's gripping it and he's not making good throws, I could easily see the Chiefs getting out to a, 2-possession lead in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, man, people are sending me the highlight of Jonathan Isaac blocking Victor Wembanyama at the rim.
Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely savage. But here's what I like. I want to see this 49er defensive line step up against the Kansas City Chiefs, and you have got to find a way to make Isaiah Pacheco a receiver, not a running back. And I just have no faith based on what we saw against Detroit, where Detroit shredded that 49er run defense, and Chase Young looked uninterested. And I want to see a plugged-in, motivated, ready to rock and roll Chase Young. That's what I need to see. And you guys, I'm not convinced that the 49ers run defense is the way.
How are we having to ask questions about a defensive end playing in the Super Bowl? How?
I don't know. I really don't know. Wow, is Hellabilly in the chat? Look at that. Morning's the new norm. Been watching replays. Yes, mornings are the new norm. That's right. Shooter, Texas, no one cries and whines like Herbie. So people are just trying to prime the pump for another Herbie meltdown.
Okay.
Giggity. Herbstreit is a CIA operative working to get Biden elected again. I've heard that.
Infowars.com.
Please tell me that you guys don't believe that about Taylor Swift. Please. Like,
you are what you
I
are.
think I'm asking
For a friend.
for a friend. But please tell me that you guys don't believe that. Please. Like, I need to know.
Oh, Taylor Swift is an operative of the White House, and she's out here trying to get more votes for Sleepy Joe. That's what she's doing.
This is so ridiculous. That a presidential candidate who got his ass whooped and then dropped out is making the argument that the NFL is a Democratic Party operative. This bro quite literally said the NFL is only in place to make sure that Joe Biden wins the election.
What the fuck are you, Ranger Rick?
So wait, let me get this. We went from the NFL is scripted and the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl
Because of the color of the logo.
That's not how it's scripted. It's scripted to get Joe Biden reelected.
What are we doing?
Giving away 5 gifted memberships from Ed Donuts. Thank you, Ed Donuts. Appreciate that. All this stuff is wild to me. Paulo, congrats to Steve McMichael to make 6 University of Texas Hall of Famers. Earl Campbell, Bobby Denton, Texas Ram, Tom.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Nice.
Try to stay with us, bro.
Nice.
Try to stay with us.
Look, I like Steve McMichael, and he was put in by the Veterans Committee, and I think it was a very moving, emotional tribute. Did you guys see the rest of this class? And I thought it was very interesting. I think the most controversial name isn't Patrick Willis. Surprising that he got in. I mean, at least at this point.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we need to stop doing with the Hall of Very Good is we need to first ballot Hall of Famer, MFers. We need to stop. And we need to get rid of this whole thing where it's like, well, if you're not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then what are you? Shouldn't it be the Hall of Elite? Shouldn't it be, are you in or are you out? There should not be like on the 3rd ballot, on the 7th ballot, on the 10th ballot. 1 vote, you're in or you're out. Because this idea that your 7th round of voting, we got you in the Hall of Fame.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.
At that point, isn't the yellow jacket more mauve than yellow?
Yeah, it's totally diminished.
Yeah,
totally diminished, and it's crazy, to think that. I remember watching Patrick Willis tear his ACL in the backfield trying to tackle a running back. I remember that. I remember, the great Legion of Boom versus 49er defensive games. That was a hell of a time in football.
Julius Peppers and Dwight Freeney, no doubt.
Yeah.
Devin Hester, I didn't think there was ever a doubt.
No.
Patrick Willis, close, borderline. Didn't win a championship, but went to 3 straight conference championships as the leader of that defense.
Best linebacker in football during his time.
And then he just retired early, which, hey, I'm good with that. Steve McMichael and Randy Gradisher get in on the Veterans Committee. I think we've diminished the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And we do shit like, well, he was a kick returner. You can't put a kick returner in. Oh, really? Sure I can. What do you mean I can't put a kick returner in?
He's the best kick returner we've ever seen.
Like the single best at what he's done ever in the history of the NFL.
Now, wide receiver? Yeah, he was kind of mid, right? He was mid as a wide receiver, but absolutely all-world, Mr. Universe as a returner. And for that, I think it's a no doubt about a first ballot, book it entry. And that's what it was.
Yeah. Yep, I totally agree. All right, let's get some of your comments in here on that. Where do you guys think? Joseph Harper, the 40 whiners have done nothing but whine about everything the last 2 weeks, from the practice field to the assigned officials to pulling fire alarms. So you don't think that practice field was a problem? It's embarrassing to the NFL. You took a football field that was sports turf. You built a frame around that football field, poured dirt into that frame, and then laid sod over it. And you have to have, you guys don't care about this, but the NFL rates fields based on how firm they are. 100 being the best, 0 being the worst, 70 being the minimum bar. The field has to have a firmness rating of 70. And it's actually called How Hard is the Field, but Jake is a child and will start playing penis jokes. The firmness rating
Stay hard.
Of the field
His cock
has to be at 70. The field the 49ers are practicing on is a 52.
Bro.
And then overnight, you had the fire alarm at the 49ers hotel pulled. Like, that's not being the 40 whiners. That's not being the 40 whiners, which is exactly what I would expect from a wandering, listless Seattle Seahawk team.
Yeah. And also, I would say, this is not the first time the NFL has gone cheapo mode on surfaces.
No.
Was it
But
not?
no. They don't do that because of player safety
Yeah,
and
my
wellness.
ass, dude. That's complete garbage.
That's bullshit.
Player safety and wellness is
Like,
our priority.
First of all, when
it's not.
When are we going to get a new surface at MetLife? Number one.
Never.
Number two, when are we going to get a new surface at Levi that's not garbage?
But you guys understand, quite legitimately, the 49ers have the worst stadium in the NFL.
Yeah.
It is. I'm not sure it's close.
Technologically, it's great. The playing surface blows.
But it's so much more than that. It's impossible to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's far from San Francisco or the Bay Area in general.
Yeah, I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to put them in Santa Clara.
Do you guys understand the biggest complaint that fans have is there's not a seat in that house that's not in the sun. So it's really difficult to enjoy a game. It's a terrible stadium. Terrible.
But wasn't it, and maybe I'm misremembering and this was a college thing. Wasn't it NFL when they played games in Mexico that field was awful?
No, it was at the Hall of Fame.
Was it the Hall of Fame?
Remember that they painted the field too late, so the paint was like tar and it was coming up and horrendous.
Yes.
Horrendous.
So this is my point. Like, this isn't the first time the NFL has cheaped out on field surface, and I just don't understand it. You're a multi-billion dollar league.
You make billions of dollars a year.
And you're telling me and again, the example everyone always uses is the Premier League, but I think it's a fitting example. Dude, the Premier League surface is consistent and it's excellent.
Which is ice poured over concrete.
Like,
have you ever walked on an English Premier League field? Oh, actually, you have.
Yeah.
Do you guys understand how impossible it is to keep your footing on a English Premier League soccer field? It's impossible.
But my point is, that doesn't mean that it's a crappy surface. They do
that
by
not
design.
At all. Yeah.
Right? That's part of the game.
But you look at sports that require elite turf. Like you look at 9 out of 10 PGA golf courses. Elite.
Yeah. Look at what they're dealing with in Phoenix this week, in Scottsdale.
Elite. And I'm telling you.
Look at the this is something no one talks about. Ice in the NHL. Everyone thinks,
ice is just ice.
Bro, ice is just ice. It's the same in every town, dude. The buildings are all the same. I can tell you right now, they're not all the same. And different buildings, depending on where you're playing and the time of year, the ice performs differently.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. James, Oak State fan and stadium guru.
Hi, this is James. Welcome back. Yay!
The big deal is I know for a fact that some Oklahoma State players were contacted before they went into the portal. Oak State lost Trace Ford to OU last year. Mason Cobb to USC. Both were tampered with.
Where's your
proof?
Who cares? Where's your proof?
Who cares?
I don't know how to break this to with all due respect to James and to all the whiny ass fans who are like, you guys tampered. Okay, so you're telling me Oklahoma State's never tampered? No, we would never do that because it's illegal.
You're telling me the mullet has never done anything like
Play
this.
the Gundy drop where he says it's illegal.
We would never
Because it's illegal.
Because it's illegal.
I don't break the rules.
Yeah, you do. You've never talked to a player that wasn't in the portal but wanted to come and play at Oak State.
I don't break the rules.
Or wanted to exploit. This is the process that we have made. Deal with it.
You ought to know you bought it.
Nothing nefarious happened. Nobody targeted. Oh, God, they're targeting Ollie Gordon.
Oh, no.
So if Ollie Gordon was at Oklahoma, you don't want Mike Gundy to reach out to him or your back channel? Because what happens is collectives and emissaries reach out to guys like Ollie Gordon. They're like, hey, man, we've got $2 million waiting for you if you come to Oklahoma.
A lot.
So you don't want to reach out to Taj Brooks. You don't want to reach out to, if you didn't reach out to Will Howard, you're
Hey,
dumb.
guys.
If Mike Gundy didn't reach out to Will Howard in some form or fashion, Mike Gundy should be fired. And I should get to shave his mullet. This is what college football is.
I'm giving you a fucking answer.
You're not a victim. You're not a victim. Michigan's not a victim. When Bill O'Brien goes to BC, Lloyd Carr won't be a victim.
God, I hope he doesn't do that, bro.
Can you believe that Bill O'Brien, and again, maybe I get it. I'm just over here reading all this cap ass shit, right? I know
old Monty.
Little old cap-ass Monty. I get it.
Right.
Y'all reading all this cap ass shit.
You're going to leave the offensive coordinator spot at Ohio State. You're going to leave Lloyd Carr's staff to go be the head coach at a college nobody's ever heard of.
Tough shit.
Which is, you can't understand it.
Yeah, you can.
Tough shit.
Thank you. You're going to leave Ohio State to go to BC? You're going to leave the offensive coordinator of arguably the biggest program in all of college football. And you're going to go to be the head coach at BC.
So wait, you don't want to coach Will Howard, Judkins, and the whole slew of talent on that offense?
I don't get it.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
And yeah, I tend to agree, James. Bro, it's not personal, man, but this is a little ridiculous. Like, you really trying to sit here and tell me that your boy is not out back channeling to get talent? Like, you should want your head coach back channeling to get talent.
Yeah. Sean Rollins, on the news now, the Cleveland Browns are looking at several different Northeast Ohio areas to move the team. They want a stadium.
That doesn't mean that they're going to win anything.
I thought teenage boys were supposed to be drama-free. Thank you for being an escape. Okay, Connor Tulin, don't smoke crack at this hour.
Y'all about to fuck this up.
He wants the Bojan sound. Play the Bojan sound.
Bro, why do we need to play the Bojan sound, dude?
Because it's funny.
Wow.
And he got traded to the
Bojan.
Knicks.
Bojan Bogdanovic.
Bojan Bogdanovic.
Welcome. Is Bill O'Brien from the Boston area? If so, that makes sense. He is, but who cares?
Yeah, why does it matter? What, dude doesn't have the money to go from V to Boston when he wants?
I'm interested to know. If you're Ohio State and he leaves, did you make the wrong decision to hire him in the first place?
Like,
I think you have to say yes, don't you? I think you have to say yes.
But it's an indictment on Lloyd Carr if Buddy leaves to go to Boston College.
Buddy leaves to go to Boston College.
Buddy's not going to the league. He's going to Boston College, a freaking hockey school, bro.
If Buddy leaves.
My God.
I love it.
Like, you've had a perfect offseason so far. And if Buddy leaves to go stand on business in Boston,
business.
You're a jackass for hiring him.
Wow. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show is presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. As always, we tell you, you guys, you have so much to worry about when you get into an accident and when you're in a hotel because your electrician burned your house down. You are, you're in the hospital because you got into a car accident. Because this morning I woke up and here in the great state of Utah, the streets were covered in snow. And what's the first thing I see driving through the streets of South Jordan, Utah this morning? I see some idiot, no offense, Jake, in a broke ass WRX.
Don't you know who I am?
Trying to stop himself from sliding through a red light. I live in a small neighborhood, and there's one of the ways that I leave my neighborhood, it's a little downhill, and there's a red light there.
Was it the white one? The white car?
Yeah, I believe it is the white car with no back bumper.
Yes,
and
I've seen him before.
And this dude is motoring and he slides and he's 2 feet into the intersection was empty.
Yeah, it was 4 a.m.
But if you hit somebody,
yeah,
if you get hit by Buddy and his WRX, that's not your fault. You need somebody that knows how to get you what you deserve. You should be compensated for other people's incompetence. That's why you go to the advocates. Because I got news for you. The other thing that everybody hates when I say it is your insurance company is not fighting for you.
No, they are not.
They are there to take your money, which they do every single month. And then the once in a lifetime, hopefully never, but once in a lifetime situation, you actually need your insurance company. They don't want to help you. They don't want to hear from you. They just want you to sign away your rights. Don't do that. Instead, go to the advocates and let them get you the best possible outcome, because at the advocates, you don't pay unless and until they win your case. Chat with an attorney live online for free at theadvocates.com. All right, let's go hardcore NFL. Before we get to the bowl that's super, Lamar Jackson won the NFL MVP last night.
I don't know where you guys would have heard that, Lamar was going to be winning the MVP.
Well, more to the point, who finished second? Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's what I do.
Yeah.
Who came second? And stop.
I think that's HIPAA.
Stop. Who finished second in the MVP voting?
Mr. blew up my ankle and then came back real nice. Dak Prescott.
The Dakinator.
Yeah, the Daxter.
I cannot. How many guys on the show were like, "You're stupid, Monty. You don't know shit about the NFL. Stick to Jazz basketball because you don't know anything about that either."
Do you even watch Jazz games?
Idiot. How many people came on this show and were like, "Dak sucks. He's not an MVP candidate." Hey, man, I'm telling you, Dak's an MVP. No, he's not. Yeah, he finished second in the voting. But here's the point I want to get to. Lamar Jackson wins the NFL MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Second award for him, youngest player ever, like awesome. How was it not unanimous? He got every vote but one. And the other vote went to Josh Allen. And I don't understand it. For an award that is completely based on the most impactful player to his team during the regular season, this was clear and far and away Lamar Jackson's award. Josh Allen was, mediocre this season. This was not his best work. Lamar Jackson was very clearly the most important player to his team, the best player to his team, the best player in the NFL. And yet he doesn't win it unanimously. And it is shocking to me that somebody would vote for Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson for NFL MVP. And I am not going to sit here and tell you that Lamar Jackson's the best quarterback in the NFL. How many times have I told you on this showgram that I just would not have Lamar Jackson as my starting quarterback? I would not. And why? Well, one of the reasons is he got up on stage last night and ripped the Ravens for finally giving him the deal he deserves. Not to say anything but Lamar was the MVP this year. It's ridiculous that Josh Allen got a vote as the number one MVP in the NFL. I don't understand it. And Jake, I guess my question is, do you believe that Lamar Jackson gets the respect he deserves?
I mean, I think that he probably doesn't get the full allotment of respect he deserves. No, he probably doesn't. And whoever, and obviously, we don't know who that one person was who thought it would be a good idea to, cast Josh Allen as the MVP of the season. I don't know who would have done that. But, I think Lamar is this guy who just, he's not, how there's some guys like Lamar who are really, really talented. One of the most talented quarterbacks in the league any given year. And some years like this year, he's going to win the MVP. But he's not the most polished guy when it comes to, communication, when it comes to, fooling around with the media. Like, he's not the best operative you've seen when it comes to people ops. I think that sometimes is what gets him in trouble. Saying last night that the Ravens finally got the deal done and then having the telecast immediately switch to Ray Lewis laughing about it probably wasn't the best look, right? And it was completely unnecessary and at a minimum was incredibly distasteful. So to me, I think Lamar, if you want the respect you deserve, you got to learn how to be a politician as a quarterback. And I think other quarterbacks in the league are elite at this. Patrick Mahomes knows how to dodge questions about his dad at the Super Bowl in a way where it doesn't get talked about, right? Like, Patrick Mahomes knows how to control a media narrative. He knows how to call media people out without, blowing up the entire interview. Like, you got to learn how to do that, man. And I really think it was surprising during the contract negotiation that we really didn't hear from Lamar, that he took the stance of, hey, I'm just not going to talk about this. You're not going to hear from me. And eventually it'll get done. Because in contract situations with quarterbacks in the NFL, it can get ugly. Your reputation can take a beating. So what did Lamar have to go out and do this year? He had to go out and silence all the haters and win the MVP. And the problem is nobody's talking about the fact that you're this amazing quarterback. I feel like we're spending more time talking about the fact that you had to go out and justify the contract. That's the problem. Nobody's going to be out here saying, wow, they paid Patty Mahomes $60 million a year.
Right. Right.
Nobody's going to question that.
Yeah.
But we're definitely going to question Lamar getting whatever his number is. I think it was 40 plus or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of conjecture over this. I look, I think Lamar's a great regular season quarterback. I don't want him on my team. If I need to throw a pass to win a game, I don't want Lamar Jackson as my quarterback. And ultimately, at the end of every season, you got to make a throw to win a game. This is the Brock Purdy conversation, right? Hey, get to him early, and he's going to be hesitant to throw the ball late. Why is that significant? Because you got to throw the ball to win the game.
Yep.
And I think when you look at Lamar Jackson, he has absolutely progressed and developed as a passer. He is still not a guy that's capable of throwing you to a win. And I think ultimately a guy like Dak Prescott, who I don't think you have a brighter spotlight in this league than the Dallas Cowboys. I think he had a phenomenal season, as I espoused and as I filleted all season long. I think Dak Prescott is the most undervalued. I love the guy. Absolutely. Give me the, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that. Anyway, my point is, I think Dak Prescott's one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think Lamar Jackson in the regular season earned the MVP.
Right.
He did. Josh Allen had an off year.
The problem for Lamar, though, is that he's one of these guys that's going to be questioned until he can find his way to a Super Bowl. Because if you're going to get paid all that money to go out in the AFC Championship game, what good is it? Who cares? What's the point? Like, and again, this is why I say Brocktober has to put to bed all of these questions about, hey, is it Kyle Shanahan in the system, or is the moment too big for you? Like, I've moved on from the, hey, it's the system and he's just a system guy. I think he's proven that he makes elite throws. He puts the ball in tiny windows. Like, he's a good quarterback. He is. The question's going to be for what is this, his second full season, I believe it is, for a guy in his second full season. Is this moment too big for him? That's what I think for Brock Purdy, the conversation is, because you're only in your second season. So think about what's on the line. If he goes out and wins the Super Bowl on Sunday, now we're sitting here talking about just the same way we are with Patrick Mahomes. Hey, dude, you're in your second season. You just took your team to the Super Bowl. You have the opportunity now to go out and chase the greats because you're only in your second season.
Well, and I think this is a really pivotal time for Brock Purdy. And I know that this is probably going to sound grandiose, and I think you guys will probably think I'm being excessive, but I'm really not. This is a moment in time where Brock Purdy has a chance to take a step into being an all-time great. I mean, if he in his second season wins the Super Bowl, and if the 49ers win the Super Bowl, I think there's a chance he's the Super Bowl MVP. Because he will have to be that impactful against a really good defense in Kansas City that most people, I think, now are finally starting to give its due. And Steve Spagnuolo is a guy that earns that respect. If Brock Purdy beats that defense, he probably deserves the NFL MVP or the Super Bowl MVP, excuse me. And he has a chance at this young stage of his career to become one of the greats of his generation. But what happens if you lose that? You lose this Super Bowl. You don't make the throw. Do you turn into Colin Kaepernick? Now, obviously, Cap had political issues, but do you turn into a guy who just didn't make the throw at the critical moment to win a Super Bowl? Most guys don't recover from that. So I think Brock Purdy's in a position with an all-time great franchise who clearly has an ownership group and a front office and a coaching staff that is committed to winning. If he wins this Super Bowl, Brock Purdy has a chance to become one of the great quarterbacks of his generation, because if we're also truth-telling, I think there is a lack of great quarterback play in this league right now. And it's why I talk so much about the sex machine in Los Angeles and Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Dak Prescott. I look at Patrick Mahomes, because you can put him in the palm of your hand, because there's more Daniel Jones than there is Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, you look at teams now. How many teams in this league don't have a quarterback? The Chicago Bears don't have a quarterback. The Atlanta Falcons don't have a quarterback. The Tennessee Titans,
Seattle Seahawks,
right? The Seahawks. You look at the Houston Texans. What was their resurgence about? Well, now we know the NFL Rookie of the Year was C.J. Stroud from I'm telling you, there is a lack of good quarterback play in this league, and the Hall of very good guys like Jared Goff can get you to a certain point, and then they can't take you any further, Lamar Jackson.
Oh, did you mean Josh Allen?
Well, Josh Allen's that guy. And how do the Pittsburgh Steelers not have a quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
How do the Las Vegas Raiders not have a quarterback? I mean, we're sitting here talking about a situation in this league where I think there is a massive lack of quality play under center. You have one of the worst contracts in the history of the NFL and the soon not to be Cleveland Browns, apparently, with Washcloth Man.
Yeah, the Akron Browns.
Right? You're looking at a guy in Deshaun Watson who has one of the worst contracts in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who replaced him is the NFL Comeback Player of the Year in Joe Flacco, who isn't an answer even for this next season at quarterback.
Yeah.
Yet guys like Dak Prescott, who play NFL MVP caliber football, can't get the respect they deserve. It's wild to me.
And I think when you look back on, like, politics aside, right? Set the politics aside. Look at how people remember a guy like Colin Kaepernick. Hey, this guy could run with the best of them. Legs for days, but not really a good thrower. Couldn't make the throw. That's what people remember. Hey, couldn't make the throw against the Seahawks. Richard Sherman beat you again.
Yeah.
And when I think about all those names you just talked about, whether it's Lamar, because I think Lamar is quickly heading that direction. You're overpaid and you can't throw your team to a win until you prove me otherwise. I look at Aaron Rodgers. How is Aaron Rodgers going to be remembered? Oh, well, he's got the Super Bowl.
Look at Jordan Love.
Look at Jordan Love.
How is
Jordan Love another guy?
Does Jordan Love ever get over?
Yeah, I think Jordan Love's starting to get over. Yeah, I think he's starting to trend in the right direction.
Yeah,
I do. But like, you just
it's
think
a
about
tough set of shoes to fill.
Yes, it is. But you know, even furthermore than that, we love to say about a guy like Jordan Love, he'll never make it. He'll never be anything. He'll never turn into anything. Yet all this guy did was go out and try to take his team to the playoffs. Now, they didn't make it, but they damn sure made a strong push. Yep. And that's why I say I look around the league and I sit here and I say, Brock Purdy, are you him or are you not him? Because if you're him, you're going to win this game.
Yep. Totally agree. Shout out to Harry Austin, the great San Antonian, on our show that gifted 751 minus 746 memberships. Great job. Appreciate it. What's up? Welcome to the Nightmare, a member of the show for 6 months. Dakota Tubbs, member of the show for 6 months. What's up, Dakota? Dakota says, OG Gary voted for Josh Allen. He's the #1 super fan of the Buffalo Bills, I'm told. I believe that's the case. Aaron Wilson, gifted 1 Monty Show member.
Let's go, baby.
Aaron, how's your heater situation? Remember, we raised about $3,500, I think it was, for our guy Aaron Wilson to get a new heater. Mike Smith, Kelsey and Swifty win Super Bowl MVP. When they do, Biden will show up in a UFO and take them away to plan his party for winning the election. Coming up in 15 minutes. And hey, wait a minute. I need to say this. My guy Cam, thank you. Cam and several others who I'm too old, like Joe Biden. I'm an elderly man who doesn't have memory. Thank you for pointing out that we did not do non-sports stories this week. I promise you, 7:30 every day.
Yeah.
If maybe.
By the way,
most days, probably not. We'll do non-sports stories.
I'm listening to, I believe it was Howard Stern yesterday. They brought up the fact that on the Super Bowl, there's a prop bet as to whether Travis Kelce will propose to Taylor Swift after the game.
That is an actual prop bet. Yes,
wild.
It is. Yes, it is. Aaron Wilson says situationship. Exactly right.
Facts.
That's James and Jake textually involved in a situationship. You'd up fan Jim. So Josh Allen can't get you to the top, but Dak can. Josh Allen cannot take you to the Super Bowl right now. He cannot win you a Super Bowl right now. He's had time and time again.
You know what the difference between
and he
Josh
hasn't
Allen
been able
and
to
Dak?
make the throw.
You know what the difference is? Josh Allen can't make the throw. It's a Josh Allen problem. It's not a Dak Prescott problem in Dallas.
And you know what? Now I feel like the narrative has changed. 2 seasons ago now, when we sat here in a certain particular set of asshole.
I ripped his ass, dude.
Said, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Was it an interception or not? When I said, I think it was 10 of 15 of Dak's interceptions hit a receiver either in the chest or the hands.
And what else did I say?
That Dak sucks and you would never have him on your team.
No, I said that they need to figure it out, and he needs to figure it out.
And he
what
did.
They do? They went out and figured it out.
And they got better.
But Dak, my point is,
Dak
for
has
folks like John or Jim or whatever dude's name
UW
is,
fan Jim, yeah.
my point is, man, it's a Josh Allen issue in Buffalo.
Yes, it is.
Josh Allen's out here throwing to open sections of the end zone, and Gabe Vincent's running like 50 yards. Gabe Davis is running like 50 yards the other way.
Basketball.
Yeah, I get it. My bad. Anyway, point is,
T-Wolves
it's
are in
a
the East.
Josh Allen problem, not a Dak Prescott problem.
And I think Josh Allen has exponentially more offensive talent than Dak Prescott does. If you look at Diggs, Davis, Knox, oh my God, Buddy from Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got 4 prolific pass catchers, and he still throws tons of interceptions. You look at Dak Prescott, he's got CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb in a playoff game doesn't even show up to compete. So, yeah, you're exactly right. I think Dak Prescott, if you put Dak Prescott on San Francisco, they're a 7-point favorite right now.
Yes.
Now, does that mean Brock Purdy sucks? No, he just doesn't get the respect that he deserves.
Dak is, no question about it, a better thrower of the football than Brock Purdy.
Dak is an elite quarterback, and nobody wants to say that, which is fine. UW fan Jim, Allen made the throw, but it was dropped. We're not talking about one particular thrower situation. We in sports tend to do this, Jim. We tend to focus on one thing. He also threw into triple coverage and had an interception. And he has repeatedly, and this year, I don't know how you explain the turnovers with Josh Allen.
Bad decision making. There were multiple times where you were running towards the sideline just the same way Dak does, the same way Mahomes does, the same way every quarterback does, rolling out to your right. And you thought it was a good idea to throw in a triple coverage.
And I think the other thing here is that Josh Allen is very different than Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy, the 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks. Because, again, I think it is a fascinating point that Mike Greenie continues to make. Who are the 2 highest rated passers on throws outside the numbers, which is between the painted number and the sideline?
Yeah.
Who are the 2 highest rated passers in the NFL?
I'm going to guess Mahomes is one of them.
Mahomes and Purdy.
Yeah.
They are both. And I think it's like half of a point separates Mahomes ahead of Purdy. Josh Allen likes to throw the ball in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Which is where more interceptions happen. Where is Dak Prescott throwing the ball these days? Outside the numbers. And why is that? Because everybody knows that ball is far, far more difficult to have a poor end result on. That ball is either thrown out of bounds or your guy's making the play.
Yep.
And the thing that I think is important about guys like Purdy, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, and Lamar Jackson is not in this conversation because he is not an accurate thrower. These guys are accurate throwers. It's not that the ball is wildly off frame or overthrown and way under. The problem is Josh Allen likes to play risk it or biscuit in the middle of the field. Those balls get intercepted.
Yeah,
they do. You can't throw it. One of the axioms in offense in football is if you throw the ball under the goalpost, it's probably going to get intercepted. So if you're in the red zone, where do most touchdown throws happen in the red zone? In the direction of the pylon. That's just the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you throw the ball in the area of the goalpost, you are far, far more likely to have an interception.
Yep.
And the other thing is you never throw the ball back over the middle. There are only 2 quarterbacks that do that and get away with it in this league. And who are they? Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes.
So that's why I say Brock Purdy's not a bad quarterback.
No.
Right? Brock Purdy's a hell of a quarterback, but he has proving to do still. You still got to go out and show me you can win a Super Bowl, and you still got to go out and show me that the Super Bowl is not too big of a moment for you.
And the reality is if you compare Dak Prescott to Josh Allen, there's not much that separates those 2.
Mm-mm.
The difference is Josh Allen has had elite defenses and elite offenses, and he's not been able to make the throw to get them there. This year, I think you could point to a lot of reasons. The head coach is a huge problem in Buffalo, in my opinion.
And Stephon Diggs is a problem.
Yes, he is. And Josh, the idea, if anybody here thinks or posthumously after this show thinks that, oh, yeah, they said Josh Allen sucks. I'm not saying Josh Allen sucks. What I'm saying is there's a very big difference between the guys who routinely make the play and the guys who routinely do not. Josh has routinely not. Dak Prescott has routinely not. Brock Purdy so far breaks off runs that just crush your balls. He makes throws where it's back over the middle, but it's lofted to the place where only his player can get it.
Yes, repeatedly.
He's elite outside the numbers, especially going to his left. These are not accidents. They're trends. I talked about it yesterday. A good football friend of mine yesterday was watching the show and we were talking about formations. And he said, I'd never realized that when we were talking about how they use Debo and CMC behind bunches and how they use George Kittle to crack back. And he was like, I never realized that. And it's the little things you don't look at when you're watching quarterbacks. The quarterback is a huge part of an offense. I totally get that. But how many weapons does Brock Purdy have?
A bunch.
Does he have more weapons than Dak Prescott?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot more weapons. If you had Kittle, Ayuk, Debo, CMC, Jennings, like all of these weapons, a really mobile, athletic offensive line on top of a good defense. I mean, the quarterback is going to be elevated.
Yeah, in some weeks, that's the best defense in the league.
Also, I would say he's still elite outside the numbers. He's still elite when he runs the football. That's a really good football team.
Yeah, and by the way, I think he's got an elite handle on the offense itself. There are many times where Brock audibles to something else that works extremely well.
And I'm telling you, as sure as I am sitting here, I think there is a chance that somebody like a Chris Jones wins the NFL, the Super Bowl MVP. Like if the Chiefs win, I can tell you 3-4 different guys who are potential MVPs. Patrick Mahomes, obviously. If the San Francisco 49ers on Monday morning are Super Bowl champions, Brock Purdy will be the MVP.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you 100%. And much to your credit, you usually don't know shit about football, but you've been right on. This. Do you care to retort?
No.
My point is, you're right on about this. And I think you've been pretty accurate about your takes on NFL quarterbacks this year. Brock Purdy has to play well for them to win. Their defense has been pretty mediocre. The only way the 49ers score a lot of points is getting guys the football in space.
Yeah.
And when he does that, he's very good. Patrick Mahomes, you have no doubt that the ball's going to be in time and space. Like your Valdez-Scantling pick on Prize Picks, I think is fantastic.
Yeah, and I think the other thing with the 49ers is the play calling has been pretty good, offensively speaking. Play calling has been really good. And they just need – I really feel like for Shanahan, the mindset
Shanny
is as a play caller is like, yeah, I just need to give my guys enough opportunities to go make the play, right? So like, okay, first 10 opportunities, we just couldn't make the play. We just didn't make the play. But from the 10th call, the play I called to the 20th, we made like 8 plays and we went down the field. Like that's all their offense is because they have so many weapons. So to me, I think your point about a mobile offensive line is absolutely crucial. They don't do the things they do without that offensive line. And obviously that goes for any football team. But when we're talking about quarterbacks, the year that Dak had that dominant offensive line and Zeke standing behind him, how much better were they? How much better were they?
Well, and how much better was Baltimore when Mark Andrews was healthy?
Yeah. Why do you think Mark Andrews worked so hard to come back?
I also think, what is the common denominator? There's so many common denominators between the Niners and the Chiefs. Dominant tight end play with Kittle and Swelsey.
Yes.
You have a quarterback that's elite on the outside. You have masterful offensive minds coordinating those offenses in Kansas City and San Francisco. And I think you have guys that are capable in space. And it does not hurt that you're talking about 2 of the better defenses in the NFL, backing up 2 of the better quarterbacks in the NFL.
But what's so interesting about the defenses is I feel like they get it done in different ways. The 49ers defense gets it done because they're faster than you and they can just run you down.
They inflict damage.
The Chiefs get it done by out-scheming you, by tricking you, by fooling you pre-snap. And so there's a guy, 2 yards from where you're throwing the football, and all of a sudden you're in trouble. So it's going to be interesting to see how that cat and mouse game gets played. That's why I'm saying this game is not about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. This game is all about Brock Purdy and getting off to a fast start. Because if you do that, I'm telling you, the odds of them winning goes way up.
Yeah.
Way up.
I'm still 31-28, 34-31. I want to pick the Niners. I want the Niners to win just for my wife. She's such a – I'm so pissed at Nike. Fuck. You probably didn't need the F-bomb there. Oh, my God.
Monty, you're too hardcore in the morning, man. Too hardcore.
I was waiting and waiting and waiting for them to drop 49er Super Bowl jerseys in the Nike app.
Yeah.
Finally, they dropped them. My wife, honey, she's a huge 49er fan. We bought a brick in front of their new stadium. She is a huge 49er fan. And I'm waiting and wait. They drop them. I buy it. It's supposed to be here last Monday.
Allegedly.
So this past Monday.
Yeah.
Order delayed. Order shipped. We'll have it on Monday.
Oh.
So wait, you're going to be that type's asshole that you're going to deliver a Super Bowl jersey the day after the Super Bowl.
Oh.
It's so frustrating. So frustrating.
Yeah.
So frustrating. What are you even thinking?
Yeah.
Why would you even do that? K. Nurin says 35-21. Kansas City wins 35-21.
If that's the case, Brock Purdy turned the football over.
Wow. That's crazy. Giga T, do you agree that running backs are not Super Bowl quarterbacks? Do you agree that running quarterbacks are not Super Bowl quarterbacks? Largely.
Yeah.
You have to have a quarterback, and this is the Josh Allen conundrum, Lamar Jackson. You have to have a quarterback who runs to open throwing lanes. And if that throwing lane doesn't develop, they run for the first down.
Right.
I can't think of quarterbacks who do that. Can you? Oh, wait, Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy. Ask Detroit about Brock Purdy running the football. Right. So I agree, Giggity. That's exactly right. It's why I think Kyler Murray struggles so much.
Yeah.
It's why Lamar Jackson struggles so much, because their first inclination. Kyler, I thought before the injury became much more of an adept passer of the football. I am a big believer that Kyler Murray just didn't think he had to work hard to play in the NFL. Got to the NFL, got that tiny little scrawny ass beat, got injured. And I think during that injury period, he matured and turned into a student. And I think you're seeing a guy now that understands what the defense is trying to do to him.
Yeah.
I still maintain that Lamar Jackson can't handle the mental side of the NFL. I think that's his, and when you see it, I think Ryan Leaf was this guy too, although his addiction issues were here nor there. If you can't look at a defense pre-snap and understand what they're trying to do to you and see the disguise that they've baked into that look, you're never going to succeed in this league. Never. You're never going to succeed. It's not as simple as, well, Monty, he called out the mic, bro. That's great. He called out the mic. But the thing that separates quarterbacks is their ability pre-snap to understand the disguise. Is that linebacker going to pull out, or is he coming after the quarter? Is he blitzing? See, why? Grow up.
The terminology is not pull out, guy. The terminology is drop into coverage.
And you know what? And I realized when I said it, because I almost said, is he going to pull out or is he coming hard for the quarterback?
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
I darn near almost said that.
Oh, dude.
Oh, hey, look at that. All hat and manure on my boots. Ken Williams, good morning to
Hello,
you, sir.
Ken.
Tanner Plummer, run first, pass second. Quarterbacks don't usually win Super Bowls. No, they don't. Drew Dozer, run first quarterbacks aren't prevalent in the NFL.
Nope.
Well, not anymore. They're not. Not anymore. Look at Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at the teams that have excelled offensively of late. The Chicago Bears. Why are they terrible offensively? Because Justin Fields has been really limited to an RPO run first quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want him throwing the football. You're terrible. You're terrible. But why is Jordan Love advancing? Because he's running to open up passing lanes and taking advantage of defenses who run down the field. Why did Philadelphia lose?
Yeah.
Because their DBs turned and looked down the field. Like, It's not difficult. That awkward guy. I also heard Dak eats off the to-go bag for fast food, pours his ketchup right on the to-go bag.
See, that's someone who's been listening for a while.
Man, that is a long take.
Yeah, that's a good poll right there.
When you guys go to fast food restaurants, please do not pour ketchup onto the bag they put your food in. Do you want herpes? Like, don't do it. I should also note, because I don't think we have a food topic today, but I should also note the full signage package is on the building at Jack now near my house.
Dude.
I can smell the cholesterol.
I want my taco box.
Okay. Your girlfriend's out of town, so that ain't going to happen. Drew Dozer, quarterbacks are virtually at virtually every level have to be mobile. Well, there's a difference between mobile and run first, right? Non-mobile quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. Well, he was just stronger and fatter than you, so he could fling you off his back in his
my quarterback.
But if we look at guys like, again, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, Patty Ice, you look at the elite quarterbacks in this league, Dak Prescott, they're all mobile. But the difference is they can throw the ball and they run to create time and space.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are Brock Purdy, how much time do you really need to be out of the pocket to get Deebo Samuel running into space? Not much.
Second and a half, maybe.
Right? Like if you're in trouble and you roll that pocket, look at the play with Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah.
He was sacked. He got away from the sack. Rolls the pocket to his left, his strong side, so he's always going to run that way. And Kyle Juszczyk, a fullback, makes a tiptoe catch on the sideline that was perfectly thrown.
But I think the other thing no one's talking about with that play is Juszczyk was wide open on the sideline.
Because he's a fullback.
Right, but that's my point about the 49ers.
Yeah.
They are talented. Their guys can do multiple things at almost every position.
I would also remind you, friends, that this is my prize pick with Kyle Juszczyk. I just need 4.5 rusher receiving yards.
Should be all day, dude.
Cash, baby.
Should be cash.
Cash, baby. All right, let's get through some comments because we need to get to the question of, is time travel real? UW fan Jim, pre-snap recognition is one of Penix's strengths.
Here we go.
If he lands on a team that can protect him, he will do very well. I don't disagree. Steve Walgamot Jr. the third. Dude, Tim is on point today. Love his life tips to go along with his amazing sports knowledge.
A big fan of his tip, huh?
Why? You're such a child. Mike Smith, fast food herpes an American epidemic, right, Mike?
Yeah, dude. What's wrong with it, bro?
Mountain Mama knows.
Coronavirus.
Jalen, during his rookie season, was the definition of a run-first quarterback. To his credit, he became a pass-first quarterback and then went to the Super Bowl, after which you should have fired that prick Sirianni.
So I said, yeah.
But you didn't, so you'll be mid-table next year. Kaner and Jackson will not take his team to the Super Bowl. Neither will. Nope, I am not. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to make Zach Wilson bang his mom's best friend jokes. We're not doing that on this show. We are a higher tier than making jokes about Zach Wilson pounding MILF all day.
Yes.
We're not doing that on this show.
No.
OG Gary, just pour the sauce inside of the nugget box. Why is this difficult?
Pour the sauce inside the nugget box.
Now, that's code.
Oh my God, just like that. Oh.
Dude, is that what we're
Gary,
calling it now? A nugget box?
Do you think we don't? I'm not your daddy.
I'm not your daddy.
Do you think we don't see through
Donnie,
your
please.
thinly veiled pornographic references of pouring the sauce inside the nugget box?
Macaque.
Oh my God. Mike Smith, open our burger wrapper and pour the sauce there. No. That's Travis is washed. 49ers 31-28. Travis is not washed.
Please.
Barfing Chicken's always good to see you, sir. Aaron Wilson, how about Tucker talking to old Vlad in Russia? All right, let's get into our non-sports stories of the year. Now, did you think this would end any other way? Did you guys see this interview? Because apparently
social media.
Not a lot of people watched it.
What? Well, it's X, dude.
A lot of people did not. And I think X and Tuck Baby Tuck thought that this would be huge. He had millions, but they were promoting this as 50 million people were going to watch. And those who did watch heard Big Daddy Vladdy mocking Tucker Carlson because he didn't get accepted to the CIA.
Big Daddy Magic.
Tuck Baby Tuck thought he was going to go. And did you guys see the welcome that the Russian media gave him? This was MSNBC did a whole thing on this last night.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is, this is the Joe Biden conspiracy with Taylor Swift.
Right.
They almost went chapter and verse from the Taylor Swift is at the Super Bowl with Tucker Carlson. They showed his plane landing on Russian TV. They showed the caravan getting him, the welcome that they had for him at the airport. And then they did something that showed you Tucker was way in over his head. They put him up at the Ritz-Carlton and allowed him to shoot pre-interview promotion from the roof of the Ritz-Carlton.
But now, let me tell you what.
Well,
now.
Monty, why does it matter that it's the roof?
Nobody is allowed on the roof of the Ritz-Carlton. Nobody. Only one other person has been allowed to film something on the roof of the Ritz-Carlton. Do you know who it was? Likely the other largest Putin apologist, Oliver Stone.
Oh.
And what did Tucker Carlson do? And this is totally Vladimir Putin KGB agent playbook. Tucker Carlson goes on a rampage. Nobody else in the lying American media would even dare request an interview with Vladimir Putin because they're so biased. And then he tilts his chin down, and kind of purses his lips. And what did Vladimir Putin say in the speech, in the interview? Or I said speech, my bad.
Careful.
In the interview. Well, all of the other American media members who have requested interviews, including CNN and Fox News. So let me get this right. In the run up to your interview with the KGB, you said nobody else had requested an interview when in fact, Tuck, Daddy Tuck, all of the American media outlets and CNN even issued a statement saying they would be thrilled to have a chance to have Vladimir Putin on their network in a one-on-one sit down. And they requested Jake Tapper, who would go to Moscow to sit down with Vladimir Putin. And when CNN refused, and I want to say that it was 60 Minutes, Lester Holt, like a bunch of people that they named chapter and verse who went there and asked to do the interview. The Kremlin said, we will control the questions and the conversation or we won't do the interview. They all said no. Tucker Carlson said yes. And then Vladimir Putin was ridiculing Tucker Carlson throughout this interview. It was brutal.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for Tucker Carlson because I think he thought it was going to be his moment. I think he thought, and I think Elon thought this as well. And who did Vladimir Putin rip during the interview? Not once, not twice, 3 times. He insulted Elon Musk.
Oh.
They thought that this was going to be like some explosive over-the-top moment. And then Tucker thought that he was going to free 2 American hostages, prisoners, political prisoners, whatever you want to say. And Putin, he asked for one particular, this young reporter to be released, and Putin quite literally laughed at him. It was terrible. And I don't, do I feel bad for Tucker?
No.
I don't feel bad for him. But I can empathize with how he felt. Like I can understand how he felt. He thought this was going to be the get over, that Tucker's back. He's a badass. He went to Moscow. He pressed Vladimir Putin. He asked the tough. He didn't. It was a 2-hour interview. First of all, it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin. I want to say that MSNBC said that Vladimir Putin talked. It's well over 90%. I want to say it was like 96% of the words spoken in the interview, Vladimir Putin. In a 2-hour interview.
Mm-hmm.
And he just went on and gave propaganda and talked about like Nazis, talked about how his country was under attack with Ukraine. Like,
come on, dude.
Bro.
Nice job, Tuck.
That
nice
was
job, bud.
really, really difficult.
Yeah, nice job.
Really difficult. Let's see. Well, Mike Smith or Ken Williams is back on brand. MSDNC. I can't believe you watched that trash. What's not trash?
Yeah, Ken, what do you watch?
Like, there's nothing news-wise to watch.
Yeah.
The only news that is just straight away, like, here's what's happening today, is the network news. But if you're turning on CNN or MSNBC or Fox News or I don't watch any of the other lesser networks. I don't watch News America for whatever those
OAN.
Those are all a joke, right? I think we all know
that.
That. There's no if you watch Fox News and you think you're getting facts, if you watch CNN and you think you're getting facts, you may be, but you're getting it with a slant and you're not getting the truth.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's wild to me. Tanner, don't feel bad for Tucker, Monty. He deserves to be embarrassed. It was a mistake.
It was a mistake. Yeah.
That was not smart. Mike Smith, Tucker saw the Interview movie with Franco and thought he could pull it off. Dude, crazy. Giggity, Putin is a bad guy. He does not. He does bad guy things, and Tucker thought differently. That's the thing. I don't think Tucker thought Putin was a good guy. But I think he has thought for years, almost as though it was a playbook, that, hey, if I side with Putin and appear to be sympathetic, I will get this opportunity from it. And the opportunity just never appeared.
Yeah, there was no opportunity because they controlled the interview.
Isn't that? I don't know why you would ever do that. I really don't.
I think the greater point is, why did you think you were the one who was going to be able to do that? I mean, again, with all due respect to Tucker, like, I don't care what your name is or which party you're about or whatever, dude. The Russians don't care. They're not like, I think we can all agree, again, putting all the political garbage aside, the Russians are very clean cut. Make no mistake about it. They're not just going to be like, oh, Elon's calling. Yeah, let's change what we've been doing for 50 years.
It was a propaganda piece.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. You're talking about a guy who at one time in Vladimir Putin was the #1 espionage, spy, black ops tactics individual on the planet.
Yeah.
And you're giving that guy a stage. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Dakota Tubbs, watch the interview. Putin made some good points and some bad points. Regardless of reviews, it's still good to hear the words of people. No, it's not. See, and this is what drives me crazy. You understand that this is a guy who murders people who disagree with him in Vladimir Putin. Like, he just unalives people.
Yeah, dude, Dakota, I can't agree with you, dude. And I'm surprised that you would say he made some good points.
Why is it that no other network will give him an interview? Well, it's because he wants to control the questions and the narratives in the interview. And he wants to not be asked about, Navalny.
Why do you think he's still in power? Why is he still in power?
It's not a matter of, are his points good or bad? It's Vladimir Putin. He is one of the bad actors of all bad actors globally.
Of all time.
Do you understand the body count that he's got? Do you understand the things that he's done and the idea that he made some good points?
Come on, dude.
Come on. Tanner, love that movie, Mike Smith. Giggity, it was no interview. It was a lecture. That's exactly right. It was a lecture.
That portion where Tucker got where he embarrassed Tucker with the CIA stuff, dude, that was a bad look, dude. I mean, that was look, I understand, like, and I'm not even trying to be harsh on Tucker. I don't really, I'm not passionate about Tucker. One way or the other. Yeah, like it's not a big deal to me, but I just think, dude, if you're gonna go and interview a guy like Vladdy, like you better understand that there's like I just felt like Tucker went into the interview expecting it to be like this professional, respectful interview. And the reality is that's selling Vladimir Putin way short of who he actually is. He doesn't give a damn who you are, dude. He doesn't have to.
Yeah, I think when you're Tucker Carlson, you went from being the voice of a generation to now being irrelevant. And I just don't understand how you thought that would end well. That's the thing that was shocking to me. And I don't know. I think they thought Elon had, and this is who Vladimir Putin is. I mean, the guy ran the KGB. Don't forget that. I think they thought that Elon and Vladimir Putin had a good relationship, or at least had relations, and they clearly do not. And Vladimir Putin, if you watch any of that interview, and I did not watch the whole thing, I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch it on Twitter. I watched parts of it and the majority of it on YouTube because I just don't, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have been given a platform. I really, really don't. Monty owes a ribeye. The news on the Monty Show isn't trash. No, it's not. 2 hours. Damn, he definitely has free time out there. Seriously. Mike Smith, cable news is not for the news. It is for the ratings.
Yeah, dude, it's an entertainment product.
And I think people automatically say, well, you watch, like what Ken was saying, you watch MSNBC, that's trash. Well, but again, I just ask, who's credible?
And yet you still haven't answered the question on what you watch because it's a trick question. There's nobody out there that you're going to watch where you're going to get one outlet that gives you just a perfect, resume of what's happening during the day. You have to go to like 15 different places to get kind of a summary of what actually is happening.
Gumby fresh out. I get all my facts from the Monty Show.
Yeah.
And in all seriousness on that, I think it's really important that you spread your information pipeline out. I think you have to listen to conservatives, moderates, liberals. You have to listen to all sides of everything because you wind up when the easy thing to do is to listen to Fox News and only Fox News.
People you agree
CNN
with.
or only CNN. Yeah, people that talk about the things that you feel like, oh, yeah, I resonate with Joe Biden being old. Donald Trump's a criminal. Joe Biden's family. Like you resonate with these talking points that come up in the media and you don't allow the opposing viewpoint in. And I say this all the time, but that's where our country took this turn where we stopped having presidential debates. We stopped having open, honest conversations where people sat down and talked about the situation at the border. Here's what I think. Here's what I think. Here's what you think. Like you have to let things come together and then form your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't do that anymore. So it is what it is. That awkward guy, CNN is biased trash. What is Fox?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They both are. They both are, dude. Like there's not like if you spend your time, like with all due respect, if you spend the majority of your time watching Fox or CNN, you're not getting the honest truth.
Yeah, Aaron Wilson. Vlad hit us with the 1472. Russia made a deal with Poland, who was cheating on the Holy Roman Empire, and so we own Ukraine now.
Bet you weren't expecting this one.
The best part about Tucker Carlson in his best moments and his worst moments is just look at his face.
Yeah.
Because like the whole that didn't happen last night on this interview. He was
he was flabbergasted at some of the things Pootie was saying
because he was not allowed to ask. And you notice he didn't ask like follow-up questions. He didn't go at him on anything. And you could see it was eating him inside.
Was it the mercenary standing in the corner, Tucker? Was that the deterrent?
Did you also see the body problems that Vladimir Putin
had?
Dude,
the leg thing was weird.
The leg thing was really weird.
Really weird, dude.
So Vladimir Putin is sitting there.
And Tucker's left. Vladimir right.
So you're looking at a screen and Tucker's on the left, Vladimir's on the right. Vladimir's left leg was just like contracting, and he had to push his knee down, and then his foot would rise, and he pushed his knee down, and that dude is not well. That dude is not well at all. Tanner, Tucker defended Putin in Russia multiple times on Fox News. Yeah, it was his thing. It might not be accurate to say that Tucker doesn't think Putin is a good guy. Yeah, I think there was an agenda.
I think you're going out on a limb assuming what Tucker believes and doesn't believe.
Tucker is not stupid.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson is not stupid.
I don't think anybody knows exactly what Tucker believes because he's an entertainment guy.
That's what he does, as Fox News said in court.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson is wildly intelligent.
Yes.
You don't have to like Tucker. You don't have to agree with Tucker. But you can't argue the fact he's highly educated and he's really smart. Really smart. He plays an agenda.
Yes.
He's a brand. And I don't have any problem with that. You know that. And if you think he's telling you the truth, or come on. Like the text messages that came out in the lawsuits, very clear. He and Hannity on Fox News, same thing. They're wildly intelligent people who are playing a game.
Yes. They're doing their job.
They're playing a game. So I think sometimes we get into this, well, Fox News is telling the truth, and they don't even pretend that they're telling the truth. They're playing. Fox News has a job to play to the Republican base, to play to conservatives. That's what their audience is. There's no doubt. So, and they do it exceptionally well. CNN plays to the Democrats, plays to the liberals, and they do it exceptionally well.
Yes.
MSNBC tries to be the moderate. They're not. They lean a little left. You have to know that when you're watching, right? OAN was only catering to Donald Trump and has continued to run that narrative, right? I don't watch OAN much anymore. I think I've seen it twice in my entire life. So, ironic that Putin has journalists killed for opposing his views, yet Tucker wants to give him airtime. And we're going to sit here and people are going to say that he had good points.
Yeah.
You know, Dakota, I'm not saying Putin is a good guy. Well, let's go back before I read this comment. And let me see if I can find. Here it is right here. Watch the interview. Putin made some good points and some bad points. Regardless of your views or not, it's still good to hear the words people with different frames of reference than our own. To which I've said, Vladimir Putin doesn't have a frame of reference. Vladimir Putin is a murdering dictator and a communist who his sole purpose is to bring down American values and interests. There's no doubt about that. And I think it's very clear that Vladimir Putin is bitter and upset that they are broke, their way of life is compromised, and they're not part of Europe. He's made that very clear repeatedly. To which Dakota says, I'm not saying Putin is a good guy, but if you don't listen to others you don't agree with, you miss the opportunity for understanding. You don't give guys like Vladimir Putin a chance to go on Twitter and say that his country was going to come under attack from Ukraine, so he had to act defensively to protect his people. You don't have him go on Twitter and make the case that they've owned Ukraine land all through history. You don't give Vladimir Putin the chance to go on and talk about Nazis and talk about, like, this was not opposing viewpoints.
Yeah.
This was propaganda, Dakota. This was not, hey, well, I'm Republican. I want to listen to the Democratic point of view. That's not what this was. Hey, I don't believe in abortion. I want to go listen to somebody who does. That's not what this was. Hey, I believe in taxing the rich. I want to listen to somebody who doesn't. Those are all legitimate. The border, those are all legitimate. One side, the other side. Let's come together and exchange ideas. This was a dictator. This was one of the largest, most dangerous threats to the American way of life. And Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk gave him a 2-hour platform and never asked a follow-up question and did not challenge him on a single thing. And when you went to Russia, Tucker Carlson, you were given a you understand they were given a hero's welcome. Essentially, Tucker Carlson was given a state visit. And they you know, for the last 8 months leading up to this event, they've run multiple clips of his show talking about how Tucker Carlson, the Russian media, has run multiple clips of his show talking about how Tucker Carlson, the preeminent voice in American news, which is what they present him as in Russia, speaking positively about Vladimir Putin on Fox News. He hasn't worked at Fox News in how long? Yet they tell the Russian people he is the preeminent voice of news in the United States. And they run clips of him supporting, congratulating at one point Vladimir Putin. This isn't converging ideology. This isn't the same can be said for politics here. You need to hear others. No, you don't need to hear from Vladimir Putin. Because every time we do, this is what we get.
Yep.
This is what we get. And I'm just curious, is time travel real? Now, good old Uncle Monty doesn't think so. But let's have converging viewpoints. A TikToker says that he time travels, and in 2027, there will be few humans left on Earth. Now, my man here, his TikTok name is The Lone Survivor in Spanish or Italian, I think.
Yeah.
He claims that those are videos of him time traveling and that those videos, and he's got hundreds of hours of video on his TikTok. He says that those are videos of him in different places on Earth where no humans exist in the year 2027.
And
him and a buddy of his.
The reason that this has caught fire is because these are iconic places. These are, places where it would be very difficult to make a video where nobody's there and it's just you.
The airport shot you saw there is one of them.
Right.
I don't think it's terribly difficult to videotape in an airport where there's empty spaces. Do you believe in time travel?
It's hard for me just to believe it right out of the gate. I don't think because he's got these videos that proves he's a time traveler. I do think that, there's been some small successes with, hey, this could be possible. Things like, I believe it's paradox time travel, they call it, or something like that. Like, hey, that might be possible. So maybe it's possible, maybe it's not.
Here's my question, and I'm going to play this video again. There's no dust. Look how, and here's what I say, the power is still on in the airport. Right? Look at all the boards. Look how clean the floor is. Look at the light. The light bulbs don't burn out ever. The fan just,
Yeah.
There's no degradation of the atmosphere. There's no people on Earth. There's nobody to clean the floors. And there's shots of him at other places that are pristine. Like and these are the things that I think about. And my wife, by the way, is a 100% believer in science.
Mm.
So she's kind of got me on this thing where when I see something like this, I just say to myself, okay, what am I looking at here and what is wrong with this picture? Well, if there are no humans on Earth in 2027, how is everything so clean and how are all the lights on and why are there no weeds and why is there no trash? And am I crazy for thinking that way?
I don't think you're crazy for thinking that way. And again, I'm going to keep saying it. I don't think because he has videos like this, it proves he's time traveling. But I do think
Go ahead.
The concept of time travel is a fascinating one, if we were ever to figure that out.
Speaking of my science-based particular other awesome human, BS, you can do this with video editing and AI.
There you go.
There is my science-based lover. I totally agree. I don't think time travel is real. I really don't. If time travel were real, you're telling me that it would be one of the best kept secrets ever. Nobody else would be doing it. Nobody else would be. Is it possible? Sure. Is it reality? It's not.
We've all seen that video that goes around the internet of the Mike Tyson fight back in the day where, someone in the audience there has the cell phone and they're taking a picture. And I think it was like a Mike Tyson fight from like the 90s or something.
It was an iPhone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we all know that video.
And there was another fight thing where there was like Tupac was in the crowd at a UFC fight.
Yeah.
I just don't buy into it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem real to me.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Williams, if time travel is real, I'm going back 25 years and buying shares in Google and Apple and Microsoft. Seriously. Do you really think people who can time travel wouldn't do nefarious things with it? And would they come back to 2025 and share videos? Well, aren't you going to have to tell people how you're time traveling? And so they can do it as well? Shouldn't we all travel at 2027 and so we can all be back on Earth together? I don't know. It looks like an Unreal Engine demo. It could. Drew Dozer. It's impossible to travel back in time, but relatively possible to travel to the future according to the laws of physics. Sure. Gumby fresh out. If time travel was real, what time is it in Arizona? 7 a.m. next year. Big Daddy Magic. I don't believe in time travel, but here comes it. This has got to be Victor. I didn't believe in aliens until I saw Victor. Only the way I believe in time travelers. Victor said it was real.
This is your beloved Big Daddy Magic, the heavyset one with the big gun with the sweet tongue.
Monty owes a ribeye. I think time travel is possible, but we haven't solved the puzzle yet. I can get down with that.
You got to be better, though, than this comment right here. You got to be better when your name is Monty owes a ribeye. Hey, if time travel was real, why hasn't Monty traveled to the future to deliver his ribeye?
I'm in 2032, and that fat fuck hasn't paid his ribeye yet. Probably too vulgar. Probably too much vulgarity. I apologize to your children. Alexa, play classical music. CERN particular accelerator. Somebody told me the other day that I turned on their Alexa and they couldn't turn it off. CERN's particular accelerator.
Okay. That's what I call it too, my accelerator.
Sent a small fragment into the future. The particle traveled 13 seconds. Hey, man.
That's all it takes, bud.
It's cock.
Wow. If time travel is real, Elon Musk is probably a time traveler.
Right, in his Tesla in space.
Tesla. Adam Hurley, show the picture again. I think it's my ex was still alive. Look, OJ, settle down. I think you time travel. It's possible to stay in this timelessness. You'll end up in a parallel world. Okay. Don't go back in time. Your mom will fall in love with you. Trust the science.
I knew today would be shitty.
Back to he's never seen it. Ken Williams thought I would give all the money to poor and no veterans would be living on the streets. Amen to that. How do we know that Monty has not time traveled? He is always right for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, look, I traveled past the deadline. Anyway. Particle, not particular. Yes. If time travel is real, why hasn't Monty gone back in time and not bet Teddy a ribeye?
See, there you go.
That's my guy.
That's my guy.
Taylor Swift is time traveling to get to the Super Bowl.
There you go.
Time space continuum.
Right.
And finally, Mike Smith, if this guy did travel into the future, we would not know. The government would steal his tech and have him ghosted. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He'd be on the roof at the Ritz-Carlton in Moscow.
Yeah.
The Monty Show. Presented by our good friends, The Advocates, theadvocates.com. No more jokes. Chaplain Attorney live online 24/7, 365. If you get hurt this weekend, theadvocates.com. Until Monday when we celebrate the Chiefs winning 34-31. Say goodbye, Brock Purdy.
Goodbye, Brock Purdy.